Hi everyone, and welcome to the PPC If You Feel Like You're Faking It webinar. In this webinar today, I'm going to teach you all the Google PPC tips and tricks that will help you run your own campaigns or make you feel more confident in doing it yourself or just getting started in general. Just to quickly introduce myself, I'm Virginia Girtz. I'm the head of digital marketing at the Pull Agency. You might have met me before. I ran the previous webinar around SEO, a beginner's course in SEO. I was also on the TikTok event. You might have seen me in there. Alternatively, you might just see me floating around on LinkedIn. If not, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. I post lots of things around digital marketing that might be useful for you. But today I'm going to talk you through my advice, my tips, my recommendations on how to get started on paid search on Google. I've been working on PPC accounts for over 10 years now. I've seen it all with large budgets, small budgets, complex accounts, tracking issues, everything. So what I'm going to talk through today are some kind of things to help fix any of that you might be struggling with, or just to kind of give you a bit more confidence to do it yourself. Just really quickly, I want to introduce who Pull are. Some of you may have heard of Pull before, some of you may not. So I'm going to do that really quickly with a little fun video. That's way more fun to watch than to hear me ramble on about who the Pull Agency are. So let me get that going now for you. There you go. Hopefully that's quite clear as to who we are, but in case it wasn't, we are a health and beauty specialist agency servicing clients across brand, creative, digital marketing, and technology. All right, that's enough about who I am, that's enough about who Pull is. So let me get straight into what I'm going to talk you through today. The first kind of quite big one, and something else we can't avoid, is consumer behavior during COVID-19, that fun topic. So I'm going to quickly talk about that and just how that's changed over the last kind of 18 months. Number two, should you be running PPC at all? I'm just going to talk you through a little bit about that. The different types of campaigns that you can run on Google, how you can do some keyword research, how you can get started, and then some 5 top tips to get you going today. So just quickly on Google, so Google Ads is free for anyone who wants to sign up to it. You only have to pay for the media, you don't have to pay for the tool, so that's benefit number 1 for using it. And Google Ads is linked up to all of your Google tools, such as Google Analytics, YouTube, the Google Merchant Center, which is for your shopping ads. You can also link Google up to your Salesforce Sales Cloud account if you are a Salesforce platform. You get charged when someone clicks on your ads. It stands for cost per click. There are other bidding methods available, but the most common one, the most basic one, is CPC charge model. And as far as targeting, primarily obviously keywords, but again, depending on the campaign you're using, you could be targeting people via their behaviors on your website, where they browse, what their interests are, their age, things like that. There are lots of different other ways, but again, the most simplest, the most common one is keywords. So let's go through some fast facts for you. 63% of people say they click on Google Ads. Now that's whether it's a Google search ad, a display ad, or a shopping ad. So a very, very high number here. 41% of total clicks go to the top 3 paid ads. Now this shows the importance of a good PPC strategy to make sure you're hitting any one of these 3 positions. And 31% of people click on Google shopping ads, which means you must have a well-optimized shopping feed to ensure you sit in the top 5 results. I will talk in more detail about these different campaigns later, but just some quick kind of things for you to fire off to various people in your business. Here you go. Now that's all well and good, but this is a little thing called COVID that kind of came into our lives in 2020 and impacted pretty much the whole world. So the big question is, how did Google Ads contribute to consumer behaviors whilst COVID has been in our lives for the last 18 months or more? So consumer behaviors have changed dramatically in the last year. More people are shopping online out of necessity, and a third of consumers have actually said they will continue to shop online even after lockdown restrictions have ended and COVID has kind of cleared up. Now, that's a lot of people. People did used to love going to the high street. They used to love going into shops. They used to like touching things, using all the testers. Not anymore, not in this day and age. So online shopping has become massive, and the use of technology to help virtually try on things has massively grown since COVID hit our lives. Aside from groceries, the most popular online shopping category last year in 2020 was fashion, followed by DIY and hobbies. I don't know about you guys, but I was outside in the garden a bunch, doing a bunch of DIY, doing the stuff around the house. So I certainly fit into these popular categories. Now, 2020 was the biggest mobile shopping year to date, with consumers collectively spending 82 billion hours in shopping apps. So if your website wasn't all that mobile friendly in 2020, then you likely missed out on some revenue. Now, the coronavirus pandemic really put e-commerce at the forefront of retail. The proportion of online retail increased to a record level in January 2021, up 61% from 2019 and totaling 35% of all retail sales. The average e-commerce conversion rate has been worked out to be 1.88% in the UK. This isn't specific to any one channel, but an average of all online sales made in the UK. In the USA, the average has been worked out to be 1.96% conversion rate. So the question is, should I start advertising on Google or not? Well, the simple answer is, yeah, of course you should. Last year, when I presented this deck, it was literally just 1 month into lockdown, our very first lockdown here in the UK. And I was trying to convince brands that now is the time to advertise. The CPC would be at its lowest. It's a bit like when you want to start investing, and you should be investing when it's low, but it's that risk, isn't it? It's like, oh, but what if it keeps getting lower? Well, in this case, the ones that did, or could rather, they did massively benefit because they owned more of the space available at a much lower cost, and that will have helped them now, where things are starting to ramp up and get more competitive, establish them with quite strong statistics and metrics and power with more authority. So no problem if you didn't. If you didn't do it last year, that's no big deal. We're here today to teach you how you can do it and how you can take a piece of that search pie. So I get this question a lot. How much do I have to pay on Google? And this is probably a question that you guys have right now. So you've just spoken to me about how I should have done it a year ago. I haven't. So what's the deal? Well, obviously there is not one answer fits all. So what I'm going to share with you are rough CPC costs for some industries. If I don't cover yours, you can also search for it on WordStream as well. So number one, for retail, the cost per click, the average cost per click on search is £1.65. On display, it's an average of 22 pence. So nice and cheap there. For the B2B world, we're looking at an average of £3.35 cost per click. So quite a lot more expensive than retail. And then a 34 pence click for display. And for food and groceries, we're looking at 82 pence cost per click. So nice and cheap. And then only 12% for a click on display ads. So that just kind of gives you a rough idea that not all industries have the same cost. They do massively vary depending where you are. This comes down to kind of competition, like how many other people are selling what you sell, how many consumers are interested in what you sell, buy, do, whatever. So it does massively fluctuate. And this is just, again, this is quite generic. Like retail, obviously you can break down into fashion, beauty, skincare, lots of different things, like same with B2B and similar to food and groceries. Obviously you've got drinks, snacks, things like that. So this is just kind of gives you a rough idea on cost per click, but do go on WordStream and they have a kind of more thorough breakdown for you. There is the question of how important is Google? Well, first of all, Google is the most used search engine platform worldwide. YouTube is the second highest and has 3 billion searches per month. 87% of UK searches are on Google. Bing has 9% and Yahoo has 3%. That versus the USA stats shows 62, maybe 63% of searches are on Google. Bing has around 27%. And then Verizon Media, which is formerly Yahoo, has 11%. So it's different in the US, again, bigger country as well. So people tend to browse on different sites. That just gives you a bit of a steer. But again, Google comes out on top here. And with over 70,000 search queries made per second, that's over 6 billion searches per day. You can see why it's the most popular tool to advertise on. So that's why this webinar today is focused on Google ads and not Bing ads, because Google ads typically tend to perform a lot better. Now, the biggest misconception is that whoever has the most money to spend has the most influence and they're going to get the best results. Now, unfortunately, that's just not true. Obviously, a bigger ad budget will help you create more campaigns and compete on more keywords. However, this is what really matters. I won't go into detail on all of them, but what I will tell you is that these three are the most important things. Combining these three things together on your campaigns is what's going to make you successful. Now, the reason why these three are more important than the others is because they all aim to build up your account's ad rank. Now, ad rank is a metric that unfortunately you can't actually see in your account. It's just like a symbol that's like sent off into the world of Google, and they look at it to see kind of how strong you are and how authoritative you are. But essentially, it's all about relevancy. If your stuff is relevant to what you sell and what people are looking for, you will have a higher ad rank. So what you need to make sure you're doing is targeting relevant keywords to your brand, your business, your products, your services. You then need to make sure that those keywords are linked up with relevant ad copy. So again, if someone's bidding on a certain keyword, that keyword probably should appear somewhere in your ad copy, or at least related in some way, like a synonym version of it. It should be in the ad copy. And then when you send people through to your landing page to buy or to learn more about what it is you just target people with, that landing page needs to include that keyword or those keywords somewhere on that page. By having all those three things link up, you will have a higher score on your ad rank, and you'll also have a higher quality score. I will talk about quality score a little bit later on, but these are all things you need to do to make sure that your campaigns are running really well and you have the highest stats available, which in the long run will mean that you actually pay less because you're more relevant to what people are searching for. So then let's move on to what campaigns you can run on Google. There are 5 different campaigns you can currently run. These are the 5 that you can do. You can do a video campaign, you can do a display network campaign, you can do Google Shopping, you can do a smart campaign, and you can do a search network. The most popular one here is a search network, so let's start with that one first. It's the most common campaign used on Google, typically used for brand campaigns, product campaigns, training campaigns, any sort of category you can think of. These are the ones where you have little search ads that appear on the search results. And the reason why these are the most popular is because these are the ones that use keywords. Keywords do come in different match types as well. So you as the advertiser can choose to have a broad keyword or an exact match keyword or a phrase match keyword. Again, I'll explain in a bit more detail later on, but choosing between broad and phrase and exact actually means different things. But again, we'll come to that. Your ads position is based on how relevant that keyword is for the user who has typed it in and looking for the ad that reflects the keyword. Again, like I said earlier, make sure the landing page also matches everything from previous to that. There are other considerations such as the quality score, the ad rank, CTR, relevancy. All these things kind of play a role in whether or not your ad will show. But like I said, relevancy is like the key thing here. The average click-through rate is dependent, again, on the different industries. But factors such as quality score, ad rank, and keyword relevancy, they all matter, and that's what's going to get you a higher click-through rate. The display network, there are more than 1 million different placements on the display network. Google has partnered with so many sites that you can target your ads on whatever site you want. You can actually use the search functionality in the ad platform and say, like, if you want to advertise on Vogue, for example, there will likely be elements of the Vogue website that you can run your ad on. Same as the Guardian. I know you can run stuff on the Guardian as well. The thing to just bear in mind here is that These massive sites obviously are not going to give you the prime spot on their homepage, but what you'll get is one of their like kind of blog articles, or like you'll filter down into some of their other pages. It will still be relevant. So if you were a beauty brand, you want to advertise on Vogue, you could probably segment that down to like cosmetics, for example, and still be visible in like the cosmetics section. But yeah, if obviously you want to be on their homepage, that's a call up Vogue job and speak to them directly, because that's obviously going to go for a lot of money. So you can target sites to place your ads on, either by the category they're in or the actual website they are themselves. You can search by keywords, and Google will show you all the websites that match that kind of keyword based on what their content is on their site. You can do it by demographic groups as well. Like you could target people that are between the ages of like, I don't know, 25 and 50, just target them wherever they go and search. You can do things like that. So it can be as broad or as narrow as you like. The thing with the display network is it's great for brand awareness. It's good for getting your logo out there. It's good for getting your brand assets seen. The click-through rates, though, are quite low. Benchmark average is around 0.79. Again, that fluctuates depending on the industry you're in. Display network ads are not good for conversions, and I wouldn't recommend it for a conversion campaign, but if as part of like a whole omni-channel campaign for something, they're good for that. Just kind of brand recognition, that recall, getting your logo recognized, getting your brand name recognized. This is when you'd want to use a display network campaign. Moving on to Google Shopping. So as of April 2020, you can list your products for free on Google Shopping. Yay! Now, Google Shopping is the absolute best campaign type to use if you're in e-commerce. So it's the one that people are most likely to click on. If people are searching for a particular product, they're going to be using the Google Shopping links at the top. They're not going to be looking at search results. They're not going to be looking at text ads. They're going to be looking for the pictures. So Google Shopping is incredibly important if you're a D2C brand. To link up your website through Google, you have to create a Google Merchant Center account. All this is basically where you upload your feed. So from your website to Google, you do it all in the Google Merchant Center. There's other things you can do in there, like setting like tax and shipping and things like that. But this is what you use to kind of link the sites together. You will then have to link your Google Merchant Center account with your Google Ad account. This sounds like it might be really complicated. It's not. It's just a matter of clicking buttons and linking it all together. The bit that is complicated is optimizing the feed. So in Google display campaigns and Google search campaigns, it's relatively easy to optimize. You just have to look at the keywords that are doing well, turn them on, turn them off, adjust the bid, look at the placements where display ads are, turn them on, turn them off, increase bids. With Google Shopping, there are no keywords, there are no placements. The only way you can optimize the Google Shopping feed is via your website. So you need to make sure that your product titles are matched to kind of what people be searching for. So you'd have to go do some keyword research to see what people are searching for. Make sure your product titles kind of match what people search for. Make sure that you've got the right kind of content on your pages. Again, Google reads all your page to figure out whether or not it should pull your ad through via that search term. Making sure that you've got alt images on all of alt tags on all of your images. That's basically telling, because Google can't read an image, it can't see an image. So you tell Google what the image is in the description, which is called an alt tag. So make sure they're all done as well. All of these things are all done via the website, and that gets pulled into the feed and that gets pulled into your Google campaign. So that's why it gets a bit fiddly. There's also lots of different things you can do where you can cluster products together. So say you had like products that were on offer or a particular promotion, you can customize them with labels. Again, this is all done through your website, which then gets pulled through to your merchant center. But you can cluster things together like summer sale, Christmas sale, New Year's sale, whatever. And you can pull them through, and then you can actually bid on them higher or lower in the Google Ads platform. Again, because this is a beginner's overview class, I'm not going to go into all the details like this, but I'm giving you enough information now so you can hopefully go and do a bit more of a Google search about it, or feel free to message me and ask me more detail. But that's just that's kind of give you a bit of an overview of what you can and can't do in Google Shopping. These are things you can do. It is the most fiddly campaign to work with out of all the Google campaigns, just simply because it's not straightforward. You go into your ad platform and you optimize off of the Google Ads platform and on your website, which can make it a bit tricky. The great thing about Google Shopping ads is the high click-through rates of between, again, 2 and 4% as an average. This could be much higher depending on what industry you're in. And people are more likely to buy from a Google Shopping ad than they are from other ads as well. So this is definitely the one that you want to be working on if you are an e-commerce brand. It's definitely the one you need to keep an eye on as well, because you don't want to have wasted clicks, but then that's no different to running a search campaign or a display campaign either. One thing just to flag, you can run a shopping campaign to other countries as long as you have that country's currency on your website. So if you were to sell in America or in Europe, that's fine, but your website needs to be able to show that currency on the products. If you can't, that means you can't run it anywhere other than the currency that you can display on the site. Moving on then to videos. So videos need to be published onto YouTube first to be able to run them on a Google campaign. You have to have, so your video needs to be all fully kind of up on the YouTube website. Make sure you've got your thumbnails on here, you've got your descriptions on there. So again, all these kind of pull into your campaign. There are 2 types of ad formats you can run. There's in display and in stream. An in-stream campaign is where the video will run before the video that someone wants to watch plays. In display is when you've got the video showing in a list instead. In fact, I think I might even have a screenshot of that in a minute. I'll get to that in a second. So yeah, that's the difference. So in stream is the video, the 5-second skippable thing you get, or in display is like within your search results. If you're on YouTube searching for what you want to see, and there it appears. Now you can choose to run 6-second bumper ads, non-skippable 15-second ads, or skippable ads after 5 seconds. These are the only ones you can choose at the moment. This could change, obviously, and costs are based on true view or cost per view. This means that you'll only pay when someone has watched your video for 30 seconds or more, or they've watched it till the end of the video. So say your video is only 15 seconds long, you'll only get charged if they watch it to the end of your video. So it's kind of a nicer, cost-effective way to get your brand seen. What I would advise, because lots of people skip the ads because they find them incredibly annoying, is make sure your brand name and your logo is in the first second of the video. If it's not, like, that brand recall's gone, no one's watching, no one's paying attention, they just want to watch the video they've searched for. So make sure that is in the first few, like first 1-2 seconds of your video. If people do stay to the end, great, but it's just very important to get those bits in first. Again, YouTube is great for discovery and reach. It's not particularly a great campaign for conversions. I would always use a YouTube campaign as part of a bigger campaign for like brand awareness. So again, it's a supporting campaign. It's another one, just another placement that people can find you versus your bigger campaign that's maybe running on social media or something like that. This is actually the screenshot I was going to show you, which is the in-display view. So you can see here, I'm looking for best hoovers. You can see there's got the little ads underneath. So these, again, this is where another type of placement. So you've got the in-display or the in-stream, which is the skippable videos. You've then got your smart ads. Now, these are best to use if you have a local business that you want to promote. You must have a Google business listing to use this ad type. Adverts are pulled through to Google Maps, Google Search, and Google partner sites as well. Ads will appear based on keyword searches, so just make sure your ad copy is keyword rich, and obviously your website talks about what it is you're bidding on. These are quite good if you're a local business, so like florists, bakers, candlestick makers. But yeah, I don't use too many of these personally. They're not a really popular type of campaign, but they're good if you want to promote a certain location. Now, this is the big one. Everybody wants a high achieving campaign, of course, but what should you be doing to get this? Well, let me talk you through some things here. So these are the 5 areas I'm going to talk you through as kind of like your focus for achieving that high performing campaign. The first one is match type. So this is basically, like I said earlier, you've got your broad, you've got your phrase, and you've got your exact match types. Choosing the right keyword match is important to your PPC strategy. So to explain in detail, a broad match is this one here at the top that says marketing agency. It's got nothing around it, it just says marketing agency. A broad match keyword means that whatever keywords you're bidding on that are set to that broad match, whatever someone's searching, if it's one of those keywords, two of those keywords, three of those keywords, it'll appear. So in this example for marketing agency, if I'm bidding on the word marketing agency, set a broad match, and someone types in the word how to do marketing for my bakery, my ad could appear because they've used the word marketing, and that's completely irrelevant to what I do. Like, they're looking for like guidance on how to create their own marketing strategy. I mean, in theory, maybe they want to go to the marketing agency, but they're probably not looking for that. They're looking to themselves. They don't want a marketing agency. Now, although I'm not paying for impressions, so that hasn't cost me any money as an advertiser, if they were like, oh, what is that? And they click on it, they get a little bit click happy and they click on it, that's now costing me money, and it might not be relevant to them. They might go, oh, that's not what I want, and then close down my site, which means I've just spent money on a useless person. I wouldn't use broad match as a match type unless you are in a really, really niche business and like search volume is very, very small. It's a great way to open up your targeting to see what keywords we'll type in. The good thing about the broad match is that if you do it like this, again, if you're in a more niche business, there's a report you can click on in Google Ads which shows you all the search terms people have actually put in when they clicked on your ad. So that gives you a bit more understanding of what people are searching for, and then you can start to narrow down your search volume and your search match types. But again, wouldn't recommend broad match if you're a B2C brand, D2C brand. It's probably more for the B2B side of things, to be honest. You then get your phrase match, which one's speech marks. So the second one down, you can see marketing agency. What this means is I'm telling Google that anyone that uses marketing agency, they have to use the words marketing agency in their search, show my advert. So this one's a bit more specific. I use this one a lot. This is probably the main match type that I would use as part of my strategy. The last one is exact match, the one with the square brackets. This is telling Google, do not show my ad unless someone literally types in those words, nothing else around it. Just the word marketing agency or words marketing agency. I would only ever use this after you've been running campaigns under phrase match or broad match for a while, and you now know what it is that people click on and what they convert on, and now you can create another campaign which is just specifically around that exact match type. That means you'll be paying a lower cost as well, because you know for sure people click and convert on these terms, so you run quite a high performing campaign for this. But like I said, this can take a couple of weeks, couple of months to understand that data enough to start creating those kind of campaigns and bidding on those types of keywords. The next is quality score. A quality score is really important. This is a metric you can see in Google. You can add it into your metrics as a column. A quality score is marked out of 10. The higher to the number 10 you are, the better. The lower, obviously the worse. You want to be aiming for like 6 and above. Anything below 6 is not very good, and something you need to work on a bit more. So to get a high quality score, you need to be using relevancy. So you need to be bidding on keywords that are relevant to what your business is about. Your ad copy needs to be using those keywords in it, and your landing pages need to be talking about those keywords that you've just been bidding on. By connecting those three things together, you will have a higher quality score. The purpose of having a high quality score is so that you actually have a lower cost per click, which is a lot better. So you're paying less for the clicks, and actually you can start to establish yourself a bit more in these in ad visibility than your competitors. So this is quite important to work on. Now, writing microcopy is a bit of a bitch. Anyone that's had to do this, on paid social, you have to sort of write in microcopy as well to get the better results. But you are under a character limit in Google. You can't go over a certain amount of characters. I think it's between like 30 and 90, basically, depending on where you're writing the copy. So writing microcopy is difficult because you want to say a lot and you've only got 30 characters to do it in. So you've got to be quite clever and quite choosy with your words. Now, what I would recommend is making sure that you've got a call to action in your headline. So things like, buy now, sign up, subscribe, whatever it is, have a call to action somewhere in your headline. Do test it out by having a call to action in the body of the text as well. But I find that in the headlines is a lot easier. So this is an example of writing an ad. So this is what you'll see in the back end of Google. So you've got your headline 1, 2, and 3, and then you've got your descriptions 1 and 2. You can do other like responsive ads where you actually get a lot more choice. You can put in more headlines and put in more descriptions. but this is just kind of a basic one I'm going to show you today. When you get into the platform yourself and do this, go with a responsive ad. You can add a few more variants, and then Google will decide which variants to pair together depending on results. But you can see here character limits are quite limited, and you do have to be quite thorough. There's also these things called power words that you can use in your ad copy. The power words are words that people kind of recognize and they like and they click on. There are 4. The words are you or your, free, now, and get. Using a power word has in some studies shown a higher click-through rate, so it might be worth doing that bit of a test and learn approach with some of your ads. I'd also recommend don't test more than 3 ads per campaign, just because again it just becomes too much and it's quite difficult to figure out what's working, what's not. So limit it to 3, test and learn, change things over, and yeah, monitor obviously all the time. Now, extensions are important. These are the little bits of additional copy that you can have on your ad. I actually don't have an example for you, which is silly. But if you were to type in something like, oh God, what would be a good example? Something like, maybe something with flowers or gardening or something like that. Just type in something. You'll see there are some little like blue links that appear underneath. These are called site links. Or there might be little bits of kind of faded grey copy underneath. That's a call out. I think actually I might have an example later on. If I find an example in my deck, I will point it out to you. But the point of point of extensions is to get additional copy into your ads, which you couldn't do because of the character limit. They're typically things like, I don't know, free delivery or save 10%. Or find your nearest store today. You might want to pull out some of your USPs for your brand as well, like #1 in blah, for example, or, you know, open how many hours a day, things like that. Just additional bits of information that you don't want to put in your ad copy, but you want to still show it somewhere in your ad. These are all the types of extensions you can have. So I think there's 11 here. So you can choose which ones. You don't have to use all of them. You can just use the ones that are relevant to you. It has been known that using extensions increases your click-through rates by up to 15%. So you definitely want to do this if you can. And ads that use extensions are more likely to be in a higher position than those who don't. So it's definitely worth looking into this and adding some to your ad. The last bit of advice I'm going to give you is optimizing. You must be optimizing your account as frequently as possible. However, in saying that, you don't want to be changing things too often. The more times you change, the more times you put Google back into like a learning phase. It's very similar to paid social. So you kind of want to at least give it a day, maybe 2 days, to at least learn what's going on before you make changes again. I would say at a minimum, you want to be going into your account once a week. And again, this massively depends how big your campaigns are, how much you're spending. If you're spending quite a lot, you've got quite a lot of campaigns running, you really want to be in there daily just to check what's going on and see if you need to change things around, turn things off, add different bidding strategies, looking at the ad copy, looking at the keywords, all these things. Like, check it as much as you can. I mean, the main things you want to be looking for are keywords, which ones are working, which ones aren't, which ones can you turn off. Are there additional keywords you can add now into your campaign because you're using phrase match and you're seeing what other people are searching? Can you add that into a campaign? Your ad copy, which ad copy is working best? Can you turn anything off? Can you change things over? The links that you're sending people through to, are they working? Are people bouncing off of it? Are they staying on it? Are they converting? Do you need to change that? Your bid strategy, like I said, most people will probably start off with a cost per click model. If you've got conversion data in your account, so people buying things or signing up to newsletters or signing up to an account or something like that, if you've got that conversion data logged in your account, you can maybe switch your bidding model to actually a cost per acquisition model. So you're only now paying when someone converts. You can only do that though if you've got at least 30 days of data or at least 30 conversions. And again, maybe device bidding as well. Like, you're noticing people are mainly going over on a mobile device, maybe bid higher on a mobile device or bid lower on a mobile device if people are bouncing. So there's lots of different things you can do. They're kind of like the top areas to look at. And then, yeah, aside from that, obviously just play around, click around the account, but they're kind of the 5 areas to look at first. And then you'll get more comfortable, more experience. You'll probably speak to Google a few times, and you'll learn a bit more what you can and can't do. Pay-per-click advertising is one of the best marketing investments that you can make in 2021 and beyond. Not only are both Bing and Google PPC ads relatively cheap at a cost per click model compared to other marketing avenues like paid social, for example, but they also target people when and where they are most likely to need your product or your brand or your service. So plan out your campaigns with something like this in mind. You want to start with brand awareness and then work your way down to the sale. So think about what campaigns you want to run first. That'd be things like your display network, maybe some search campaigns that are targeting more generic terms. Then your interest levels are maybe more product focused keywords. Maybe Google Shopping starts running. Consideration could be like remarketing campaigns, maybe even more targeted keywords. So that's kind of how you funnel people down and then obviously hopefully drive them to that sale. You do also want to have other channels supporting what you're doing as well. So you might have some paid social campaigns running, you might have some email campaigns running, you might have some SEO in place. But this is, you know, in a nutshell, how you want to structure a PPC campaign. Don't just like kind of willy-nilly throw in some keywords. You want to think about like, okay, that campaign's for brand awareness. Okay, that campaign's for a high level intent. All right, that campaign's now for like converting. So try and think about it that way when you're starting to plot out what your campaigns are going to be and what the purpose of them are. So then how to get started. What I'm going to do is just quickly show you just basically what the steps are in creating an account and running a campaign. I would have done a live demo for you, but I guess a bit fiddly. I'm not quite sure how to do it when I've got two screens. So I've got screenshots for you instead. So if you don't have a Google account, this is how you create it. Literally type into Google, create a Google account, and you'll get the first link and it'll take you to a couple of links here. Click on that, you'll see this. So on this screen here, you can see that it's asking you what goal do you want for your campaign. So you've got here a sales goal, a leads goal, a website traffic goal, product and brand consideration goal, brand awareness, app promotion, etc. So choose which one you want, and then you're on to the next stage. I think for this example, I've chosen sales. That's what most people typically want to do. So I've chosen sales as my goal. So now I'm choosing which campaign type I want. Do I want a search campaign, a display campaign, a smart campaign, a shopping campaign, a video campaign? In this example here, I'm going with the basic one of a search campaign. You then get this shot here where you're looking at what's your website. So drop in your URL to your brand's website. At this point, you might want to pull in any goals that you might have created in your Google Analytics, or if you have any e-commerce tracking and things like that, you can link that over at this point and pull it in and tell Google, oh, these are the things I want to track against. So that's useful to do. You then name your campaign. So whatever you want to call it, maybe it's a particular product, maybe it's your brand, maybe it's a particular category, so like shoes, for example. So whatever your campaign is called, call it that, whatever that kind of topic is about. You then want to then pick your locations. So where are you targeting? Are you targeting the UK? Are you targeting globally? You can reduce the targeting as close as like towns and like postcodes and things like that if you wanted to. But I'd probably start off, you know, broader than that. I'd start like UK. If you're doing a UK-based campaign, then you can narrow it, or you can bid higher or lower on certain locations once your campaign gets going. That's something else you could do. You want to then look at your bidding strategies. How do you want to pay for people? Do you want to pay on a cost per click? Do you want to target people on maximizing clicks? Do you want to maximize conversions? Obviously, we've chosen a sales campaign for this one. So we're saying, oh, we want to maximize conversions, please. What that'll do, you can only do that if you've linked your goal data or your e-commerce data in that previous step I just spoke about. If you haven't done that, then Google's like, well, what's a conversion? So if you haven't told Google what a conversion is, you can't use this one. I would then recommend you use maximize clicks instead. Or you can use, your usual manual CPC, which again is the kind of basic one. Google would rather you use an automated bid strategy, which these kind of main ones here you're seeing on the screen. This is the best way to use the platform. It's using their AI, it's using their data and their knowledge, and they'll get you the best results. You then want to tell Google what you want to focus on. Again, for this purpose, I've said conversions. You can tell it to focus on clicks or impressions if you'd rather. Again, like I said, you can only use this if you've pulled in that conversion data already. You then want to do your ad extensions. Like I said earlier, that gets you the up to 15% additional clicks and click-through rate. So add in any site links you have, whether it's additional links you want to add to the campaign, or any USPs or any promotions, your phone number, anything like that. You then want to start creating ad groups. So once you've got your campaign, which is like the category, so let's just take shoes, for example. So I'm a shoe brand. My campaign is called leather shoes. Okay, that's my campaign. I then will have my ad groups. Now this is where you want to create themes of different keywords. So I might have brown leather shoes as one ad group. My second ad group could be strappy leather shoes ad group. I can have another one which is stiletto leather shoes. So see what I'm doing? I'm kind of theming things in little groups, and that's how you create relevancy. And that's what's really important here. So have a think about what those different ad groups will be. These are your themes that kind of go under the campaign that you've just created for yourself. You then create your advert here. So again, you've got your character limits, figure out kind of what you want to say here, make sure you've got a call to action in the headline somewhere, also test it in the body of the copy as well to see what gives you the better results. This is the responsive ad. This is the one I didn't show you in the previous section. So a responsive ad will give you more opportunity to test other things. You've got multiple headlines you can test, you've got more descriptions you can test. This is the preferred ad copy choice. So I would definitely go with the responsive text ad option when you get into your ad account. And that's it. Then you're on to billings. Now you put in your billing information, who's going to get the horrible invoices, who's going to pay it. That all goes in here, and that's all set up for you. And that is it. Off you go, ready to go. Once you've got some data, obviously, in your account, you'll then have your dashboard that you can see, which just shows you a quick snapshot of like how everything's doing. This is okay. I don't tend to use this very often. I mean, that could just be because I've been doing this for long. I prefer to go into the campaigns themselves. But if you just want to get a quick idea of like if things are doing well or not, then this first view of the dashboard, you can do yourself. This is already pre-programmed to be like this. I don't think you can customize it. I've actually not tried personally, because like I said, I don't really use it. I think it already comes as this preset dashboard, which just shows you some of your highlights essentially. But otherwise you can go into the campaigns themselves and look at them in more detail. The next thing I want to say is this one here. Now this one I always find hilarious to present. Is how do you know when your agency is bullshitting you? Now I'm sure a lot of you watching this use agencies, or you might have someone in-house, great. But if you have used agencies and you're thinking about bringing it in-house, that's one option. Or if you want to change agencies, that's also another option. But different agencies do different things. Now, we obviously, we want to be as transparent as possible, but not every agency is as transparent as us. And we take great pride in our communication. We give weekly reports to clients and we feedback as regularly as we can, the good stuff and the bad stuff. I just really quickly want to go through some of the things that we've heard clients say to us when they're looking to move away from their current agency and move to us instead. There are things like this, so you maybe don't get any reporting or any communication from your agency. There is no campaign structure. They've not told you how they're building their campaigns. So are they using awareness? Are they doing intent? Are they doing sales? Like they've not told you any of this. There's no structure, there's no strategy. One thing some people do is they don't use negative keywords. So it's all well and good bidding all these terms and then people are typing in other things and still triggering your ads. But if you've got ads appearing for search terms you don't want to appear for, you need to block those keywords. You need to add them to a negative list. Some accounts that I've taken over have no negative keywords. And it's like, what are you doing? Just like, that's a bunch of wasted spend. So that can be something to look at or be aware of. Some agencies only use broad match. Again, that's just wasted spend. You should be filtering your stuff and changing it to be phrase match, changing it to be exact match. They should be in the account regularly, optimizing it, making sure there's changes in here. Like what have they changed? Have they changed the bidding strategy? Have they turned off keywords? Have they increased more ad copy? Have they changed the ad copy? Lots of different things. So look, it's really easy for an agency to do any number of these things. I'm sure us as an agency, we have done maybe a couple of these things before. So don't like crucify your agency if you've gone, oh my God, they do that. But what you can do, just have a little bit of a check up on them. In your Google Ads account, there's a change history. You can click on that and you can see when did they last come into the account? When did they last change anything? Because if they haven't done anything in like over a week or longer, then that's a problem. They're not looking after your account. And obviously it depends what contract you've got with them, but assumingly you're asking them to look after your campaigns for you because you don't have the skills or you don't have the time. So if you've noticed in the change history, there's nothing changing, then that's a problem. That's something you can flag to them. You can say, look, I can see you last changed something a month ago. What's going on? So that's something you can do to be a little bit sneaky. But that's just kind of an FYI. It's just, yeah, you know, I'm very keen to make sure my clients, like, you know, my clients do really well, and they do well in their accounts. So I'm in it quite a lot, but not everybody's like that. Some people just kind of let things run, and that's not how you should do it. Okay, this is the end of the webinar. So I'm going to leave you with 3 key takeaways. So I've talked through quite a lot, again, all kind of beginner stuff. I've kind of added in a few little bit of extra detail here and there. So hopefully you've been taking down notes, or you can scroll back and rewatch things I've said. But the 3 key takeaways I'm going to give you today is, number 1, make sure your campaign matches your business objective. So if your business objective is to increase sales over the year, or to increase signups or leads, or increase brand awareness, make sure that your campaigns are set to that same business objectives. Make sure you've got that funnel in place, and you're kind of using different campaign tactics to generate the results that your business needs. Make sure you have well-written landing pages using your identified keywords. So again, don't just be bidding on any old random terms. Make sure they're relevant to what you sell, what you do. Make sure your ad copy matches it. Make sure your landing page matches it as well. And then think about your entire user journey. So, okay, great, you're bidding on this term, you've got the right ad copy, you've got the right landing page. What happens next? Like, what are you expecting the user to do? Are they supposed to take an action? Are they supposed to be learning more? Can you send them somewhere else? So you're just driving to that page, but should they be going somewhere else to actually convert or learn more information? Just have a think about that before you just willy-nilly pick an old landing page. Not everybody is going to convert on the first visit either. So think about that as well. Again, that comes back down to your campaign structure. So your brand awareness one might just be more about getting your name heard, maybe about learning a bit about what you do. When they go and do a more thorough search for something, maybe you appear for that term as well. Maybe like they're looking for like a particular ingredient in a product, for example. So just have a think about that, and think about the user journey. Again, if you push people around your site as well, you can create remarketing lists that are based on website behavior. So you can target groups of people that have done a certain sort of behavior. Again, that will show higher intent as well. So you'll get a higher performing campaign. And that's it. They're the 3 key things that are the most obvious and most basic, and things you need to think about when creating a PPC campaign. And that is it. Obviously, I've got any questions, but this is a webinar, so there's no live questions right now. But if you do have any questions, please do email us at The Pull Agency. You can also find me. My name's Virginia Girtz on LinkedIn. Hopefully I've been helpful for you today. And yeah, if you need any additional advice, please contact us. Otherwise, hopefully this makes you feel confident enough to get going and do it yourself. And yeah, good luck with everything. I hope you get some perfect and high achieving campaigns. Thanks, everyone.